Hello, I'm Dave Moore with PITC, and today we're going to be going over the testing procedure for a DCVA. The DCVA that we're going to be testing today is a ZURN Wilkins Model 950 XLT2. First thing we're going to do when testing our backflow preventer is flush our test cocks of any dirt and debris. The next thing we're going to do is take our high hose and connect it to test cock 2. The first test we do in a DCVA is check our check 1 in forward pressure, or develop our pressure differential across check 1. To do this, first we're going to pressurize and bleed our gauge. Once our gauge is bled, we're going to shut off isolation valve 1, and we're going to open up test cock number 3. This is going to give us our pressure differential across check 1. Right now we have a pressure differential, or a spring tension, of 3.6 psi. On a DCVA we have a minimum spring tension of 1 psi, which we must maintain for 2 minutes. So as long as this holds constant for 2 minutes, it would be recorded as a pass. We're then going to move on to the next test of our DCVA. Shutting our test cocks, re-establishing pressure in our device. We'll move our high hose from test cock number 2 to test cock number 3. The next test of our DCVA, we're going to be checking our check 2 in forward pressure, or our pressure differential across check 2, and as well at the same time we're going to be checking reverse pressure, or back pressure, against check valve number 1. We have a minimum spring tension of 1 psi on check valve number 2, so again we must hold above 1 psi for 2 minutes on this test. First we're going to pressurize and bleed our gauge. Once we've bled our gauge, we're going to shut off isolation valve 1. And then we're going to open up test cock number 4. When we open up test cock number 4, this is going to be giving us our pressure differential across check 2. Again, like I said, we must hold above 1 psi for 2 minutes here. We're resting at 3.5 psi, so that would be holding as a pass. At the same time, we're going to open up test cock number 2, which is going to be having reverse pressure on our check 1. As long, again, as we hold constant for 2 minutes, this is recorded as a pass. We're going to shut our test cocks and move on to the last test of our DCVA. I'm going to move our high hose from test cock number 3 to test cock number 4. We're going to re-establish pressure in our device. We're going to pressurize and bleed our gauge. Once we've bled our gauge, we're going to shut off isolation valve number 1. And in the last test of our DCVA, we're checking reverse pressure against check 2. Again, we must remain at a constant pressure for 2 minutes. We're going to open up test cock number 3. And we're going to drop our pressure to a readable level. Again, we must maintain a constant pressure for 2 minutes. Once we've done our 2-minute count, we would record this as a pass. We close our test cocks and return the device to service.